This Overwatch 2 developer post is full of good news. In this blog post, Jared, who is the new executive producer for Overwatch 2, shared a bunch of teasers as well as some information on what we can expect during Season 2. But what I want to share with you guys is the #1 website to get top-level educational guides and courses. And I am of course talking about GameLeap.com, where we source all of the top-level coaches in Overwatch to specifically tailor an experience for you to grow and climb the ranks. Go to GameLeap.com or follow the link in the description below to get your subscription today and start soaring. So leading us off in this developer blog, Jared leaves us with an important paragraph that says, sharing plans before they're finalized is risky. Development on a live game like Overwatch 2 requires constant juggling of urgent player needs, long-term ambitions, and live issues. It's easier and safer to talk about the work once it's nearly done and ready to deliver. That said, I think sharing our thoughts early is the right thing to do so we can create a better dialogue between the development team and the community. Now, to us veteran Overwatch players, these words are like honey. They are the gold at the end of the rainbow. It's like hitting a jackpot to hear that finally Blizzard wants to create a better dialogue between the development team and the community, something which is very different to the old days and a good look for the future. So the first thing Jared goes on to talk about is the rewards and progression system, which is definitely a hot topic because for the past few weeks Overwatch players have been complaining a lot about the monetization model and how everything kind of just feels lackluster as far as reward goes. From the words of Jared himself, he says, "I could say a lot here, but I think a good place to start is saying that we aren't completely satisfied with how everything feels right now. There's a lot we like about it. Knocking out a bunch of daily or weekly challenges or getting something new for a hero you love can feel great. But we also recognize that today's experience has opportunity for improvement that we need to focus on. We want you to feel more rewarded for just sitting down and playing." I think that this is a massive step forward. I don't think that it's bad that Blizzard has brought in a monetization model to keep the business afloat because, as we all know, live service games do cost a lot of money to continue development for, especially for the old model of just simply paying for the copy and then you're done. You don't have to put any more money into the game. That model benefits us as players in one way and hurts us in another. And the obvious way it hurts us is that we get a situation like Overwatch 1 where they pretty much had to slow development because they just weren't justifying the cost of development. Now, with this in mind, there is a wrong way to still do this system because if you are just littering your game with microtransactions and there is no way to progress otherwise, then obviously that is a very player adverse system and it's one that is not good for the players. And from what the community is saying, that is sort of where they feel Overwatch 2 is leaning. It's not exactly riddled with microtransactions like Clash of Clans or something, but it is actually pretty bad right now. They don't feel like they can get the skins they want. They feel like everything is behind a paywall, and that can definitely hinder the playing experience. But let's take a look at the particulars of what they have planned, at least at an early look. We have Jared's short-term plans, which say, in Season 2, we've changed up our rewards a bit so that each event has a skin you can earn by playing, in addition to the other cosmetic rewards we already offer. We're also going to continue our Twitch drops program so that you can earn skins and in-game goodies by supporting your favorite creators. While we're working on the long-term plans, we want upcoming seasons to feel more rewarding than Season 1. As for the long-term plans, Jared says that for Season 3 and beyond, we're looking at a mix of Battle Pass changes, more interesting challenges to pursue, and more exciting play-focused progression systems for you all to dig into. We'll be able to talk about some of these changes soon, but other changes may take a bit more time to lock in. And this obviously makes a ton of sense because, as you know, the Battle Pass is the primary funding model of Overwatch 2. It's the way that it brings in constant revenue. So making any dire changes to that is making a direct change to revenue of a massive company that has stockholders and all kinds of stuff that you have to worry about. So it really is going to be a sort of chain of motions that it has to be in order to get these long-term changes. But at least we do know that the developers want to bring these changes forward and they want to get the chain of motions underway. So be sure to like and subscribe because as soon as they do give us updates, as soon as they're communicating with their community about what they plan on changing, I will be putting videos out on those topics and what I think about them. So yeah, make sure you slam that like and subscribe button to see those when they come. The next update they talk about is queue times, and if you follow my Twitter, which not a lot of people do, so don't feel bad if you don't, but if you do, I posted a screenshot of me waiting in a 30-minute queue with my friend who was on tank in order for us to get a game. 30 minutes, half of an hour. And the crazy thing is that Ramatra is not even out yet. So do you know how bad queue times are going to be when Ramatra drops and he's on the role that already has the worst queue times in the game, where I had to wait 30 minutes to get into a lobby? Well, hopefully we won't have to find out because they are actually making an update to address the queue times. Lord Jared goes on to say, contrary to what your DPS Mora may tell you, Overwatch is a role-based game. As such, queue times are a very real, very consistent focus area for the team. With the move to 5v5, we're seeing longer queue times than we'd like for both tank and damage players, and while there's no silver bullet for this issue, the team has a lot of ideas that we want to experiment with in the upcoming seasons. Many of these ideas are focused on the support role and how we can make it more fun and rewarding to play. We're discussing targeted support hero reworks, game system updates, and even some role-wide changes to improve support quality of life. This is pretty massive. Pretty much what Jared has just told us is that the way they're trying to address fixing queue times is by making support better, which honestly can mean a lot of things. We could see a whole new support passive coming out. They might rework supports entirely. I mean, really, we don't know what this could entail. All we know is that with 2 more supports coming out in the upcoming year, this could actually be a massive pivotal moment in the support role for Overwatch. It's also important that they don't overcorrect and make support super broken, because if they do that, then support's just going to become the new tank and support queue times are going to become 30 minutes. But honestly, I don't really envision a world where that happens, because tank is not getting changed and it's really powerful and fun to play. So while old Overwatch 1 me would be shaking in his boots about what a support wide change could be, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they come up with, because the stuff they've been doing in Overwatch 2 is very grand, very sweeping, and the game just feels better because of it. They end off this section of the developer blog post by saying, as we settle on specific changes, we'll make sure you know about them. In the short term, we've made queue time estimates more accurate in the UI, and we're going to experiment with our battle pass rewards for those who queue as support and all roles. The next section goes into competitive, where it says, we recognize there are aspects of the experience that we need to improve. The team is full of folks who live and breathe comp, so making this mode feel dynamic and fair is a high priority. We've been making some adjustments to the matchmaking system, and we implemented some changes that should help the system more accurately determine a player's skill tier and division. While this change is already in game, you can expect the effects to be even more noticeable at the start of Season 2. So it's unclear what these changes exactly are and how they've adjusted the algorithm to account for this and make it more accurate, but I imagine that we're going to hear more about it just based off of the next sentence that I'm about to read, but also just in general with this new communication that they're doing. I think we will start to understand the algorithm much better as they continue to go through the seasons. The final bit of this says the competitive system is more than just matchmaking though, and we've heard your feedback about the unexpected rank changes, rate of feedback, and more. This is a topic that I can't do justice with just a paragraph or two, so you can expect a deeper dive on our plans soon. If only there were a news channel that gave constant early updates when this kind of stuff came out. But moving on to my favorite part of these kinds of things, we have hero balance, which is no doubt what you are also looking forward to hearing. Lord Jared goes on to say multiple heroes saw balance changes and adjustments in the patch, which is of course talking about the November 17th patch. Notably, Genji and D.Va are a bit less deadly, Zarya is less shieldy, and Sombra is less hacky. We feel the changes in this patch are good for the current state of the game, but we're already planning ahead for more changes at the beginning of Season 2. They go on to say, and listen closely to this sentence, we'll be talking more about those Season 2 changes, including some for your favorite cybernetically enhanced Canadians soon, but we want to see how the current set of updates for this mid-season patch play out first. There is only one cybernetically enhanced Canadian that I can think of in general, let alone on the hero roster for Overwatch, and that is going to be SOJOURN. So it definitely seems that they have heard the outcry from the higher level community and the streamers. There is a little bit of contention in the lower ranks as to whether or not SOJOURN is broken, but it seems to pretty much be very clear to the high ranks in Grandmaster Plus. But either way, I think we're going to be seeing some pretty big changes to her, and I'm going to be really interested to see how that adjusts the meta and what the changes are, of course. To be honest, with the November 17th patch, all the heroes that got nerfed actually still feel like they're pretty strong. None of them really got sledgehammered so hard that they're like all the way at the bottom in the Doomfist tier, but even so, they still don't feel annoying to play against anymore. I mean, Sombra is sometimes, but that's just kind of how the character is built, but she doesn't feel wildly oppressive and unfun, you know? Zarya feels a lot easier to sort of push and fight on the various tanks, and it feels like there's actually more variety on the tank line now that we've sort of been pushing this new really divey, really quick meta. And the Junkrat nerf was a little bit weird, but you can't land all of them, right? I mean, having like an 80+% win rate on development changes is great. I'll take that, no problem. So just to wrap things up, I'm going to read what Jared said. In closing, players who've stuck with us, players who've returned, and players who are just now jumping in the fun, thank you for playing Overwatch 2. Reading your posts, watching your clips, and playing alongside you always leaves me humbled. We have an incredible community, and I hope that by opening up about what we're thinking more, we can keep growing together. We'll be sharing a lot more on what's coming in our second season very, very soon. Until then, I'll see you on the dropship-Jared. A very heartwarming message to end off on, and what a killer blog update this was. I cannot emphasize more how excited I am moving forward, seeing all of these changes and seeing the dev team is actually listening. And as for our community here at GameLeap, be sure to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments down below, what do you think that the best Sojourn changes would be to bring her in line with the rest of the DPSs? Do you even think that Sojourn is overpowered? If you don't, then why not? What makes you think that she's in a balanced state? Do you think she's healthy for the game? Tell me all of that down below where I can read and reply, and I will see you all again very soon for our next educational guide or news update. And check out our website. I'm telling you, it has some amazing content up there, so go and take a look. In the meantime though, guys, this has been Highway. It's always great speaking with you. I will see you all again very soon. Take care and peace.